All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 400. Wow, I'm going to have to learn a new counting system of the KissFAQ podcast. 400 episodes over, 7 years, 6 years, 8 years? I don't even keep count anymore. I think it was 2015. Was it? It's a long frickin' time. I want to thank everyone out there who's joined us for all 400, or even 4. Or even if this is your first, thanks for being here with us and our ever-rotating cast of characters. Thanks to everyone who's participated, all the interviewees who've been interviewed, and everyone who's put up with my shit. Thank you very much. That's as much as we're going to go into marking our 400th episode, because we're just here to talk about Kiss and hopefully entertain you in the process. It's the same operating procedure every week. Anyone bought any new Kiss shit this weekend?
I didn't buy anything, but I did post on Facebook that I had picked up this, had found that when I was buying another record at a record store this week. And they had two of these. I was just browsing through, as you do when you go in a record store, you browse through the Kiss record, vinyl section, and I'm pulling up vinyl, and then I say, what? Hey, these are the free, promo things that they put out for the Destroyer box set. And so anyway, the guy gave it to me, and I was happy.
I have to say though, sorry, thank you, Ken, for mentioning last week how you got the records that I sent you. Thank you.
Yeah, I got the second set too.
Oh, you got them too? Good.
So they came later. I know you sent them at the same time, but it came. It's the post office.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Talking at the post office, our records from Germany are somewhere between Germany and here.
So on the water or somewhere.
No, I think they've made it into customs, but the last package that I had go into customs was there for 30 days.
I've seen that take a while.
I'm very nervous because, these are the German elders on the Mylar, the beautiful clear vinyl,
right,
and the Australian insert and the German lyric insert. And I did notice, now that everyone's posting pictures of these things, I noticed one OCD thing that jumped out at me. The Music From title is in white. That's wrong.
I noticed you said that. Yeah, I didn't realize
it's
that.
like, why is it in white? Is that like an error or is that deliberate? So that's very interesting, but it's also nice. It does offer a cool contrast between this one and older issues. So, it's not a bad thing. It was just what happened there, because I went and dug through my 97 copies of The Elder to see if I could match it up with anything. And
only 97.
97?
No,
you really have that many?
No, I don't. I've got so few records left, and I'm trying to get rid of what does remain. In terms of new shit, well, I don't think I bought any new. We're going to talk about Virginia Beach Off The Soundboard, but I did order a record today, and this is a complete side tangent. This is a band that Kiss toured with, who is nearly as old as Kiss. They're only 5 years younger, formed in 1978 in Sheffield, England.
Yeah,
Def Leppard has a new freaking album coming out.
New single.
Yeah, they released Kick.
It came out today.
I heard that.
I ordered their signed double LP. I never buy stuff these days.
Wow.
Yeah. It comes a signed litho. I had a signed meet and greet litho once. It looked like it had been done by a machine. So hopefully this is actually really signed by them. But I don't care. It looks like they've totally gone into an early 70s vibe of glitter and glam. So
nice.
Very excited. If Kiss ain't going to make new music, well, thank goodness other bands
Everyone else is making music. Yeah.
Did you hear the song? Like, I haven't had a chance to listen
I have.
to it yet.
Yeah,
I heard it.
It's on the lighter side and very poppy. It's not as poppy as X, but it is kind of the lighter stuff that they did on Sparkle Lounge. So it's keeping in that realm. They've got a couple of songs on there that feature Alison Knauss. That's the singer who does stuff with Robert Plant.
Oh yeah.
Alison Krauss.
Krauss, not Knauss. K-N?
Krauss. K-R.
Yeah.
I gotta wear my fucking glasses. That shows how much I know about her.
She's a great singer. I love her bluegrass stuff.
a lot of people are hot on that Robert Plant record with her.
Yeah, well, it seems to marry up what he can still do with, I haven't really checked out any of that. I'm really out of touch. I'm with music these days.
Yeah.
Bought the new Ghost, but not
Oh,
impressed.
hmm.
That's taken one step into the too poppy and really getting away
Oh,
from
really?
some of the obvious themes of
Mm.
earlier albums. So they were starting to lose me last album, and it's okay. It's not, I went back
Mm.
to listening to the Stones all day today. So let's
Yes.
jump into some topics because I think first and foremost, Kiss Cruise sold out. And
Oh,
I'm
I
not
saw that.
shocked in the slightest.
mhm.
Either of you shocked that that boat is going to sail? I saw people on the waiting list getting very upset as their numbers approached and the number of cabins decreased. Mark,
Look, I'll just say this. Nothing surprises me when it comes to Kiss. Now, as far as this selling out, I think that at the end of the day, Kiss fans are a loyal bunch. Yes, we complain a lot. Yeah, we have things that bug us about the band, but I think at the end of the day, the people, if they want to go and have a good time, what better place to go to have a good time than on a cruise? Yeah, maybe things are changing as far as the band appearing and doing certain things, or this might be the last time they're going to do it. But you know what? I think the main thing that people enjoy about the cruise is each other's company and hanging out and talking with each other. I think that's more important to a lot of people than the band itself in a lot of ways.
yeah, totally agree. It's less. I think it's less about the cruise and more about the comradeship at sea. There really seems to be a scene. There seem to be a lot of the same campers involved who have their little, circles that they enjoy seeing together on the seas, and then you get the fringe benefit of a, sail away show and one of two Kiss live performances in the theater. So, and of course, this one sails from LA, making it a little bit less of a flight for people coming
Hmm.
from the Far East or Australia, New Zealand, and elsewhere. Ken, thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too surprising. Yeah, I do think that it did pick up some people that weren't willing to maybe fly across, from the west to all the way to, Florida. It picked up those people that probably turned it down for those reasons, and then picked up some, your normal people that like to go every year or plan on going every year. And then, even like you said, even more from, Asian Pacific area,
Yeah.
pick up more of those people because that's a long ways to go if you're going to Florida. But it's a nice shorter flight for them.
Yeah, and it's more of an event now as well with the, the pre-parties, the CreaturesFest, already been an inkling that things are getting organized for that. I passed up my booking. I just don't want to do it again, and I don't want to spend that sort of money. I need to go to England this year. I need to do a couple of other trips here and there. Going to WASP, I already had my WASP tickets. So I'm not missing that for anything, which is on the 29th. To see them down near, LA, Anaheim, is kind of important to me. I did extend my hotel booking to during the Cruise Fest, or when it should be,
Oh, okay.
so that I'll be down in the area if I do decide to do anything. And, that's still to be determined, but at least you can make a hotel reservation this far out and not go through with it if the event doesn't turn out to be something I want to be, either attend or participate in as a vendor, because I'm not going to do, any more expos if I have a choice, because I'm just really not into it these days. So, it'll be exciting to see what gets put together on the West Coast, because I think there are a lot of opportunities of things that could be fun to do in a pre-cruise, to make it more of a thing. And who knows if some of these other bands may schedule shows around that time, even if they're not going to have anything to do with the cruise officially. So there's a lot of touring that you can do down in that area that have sites of historic significance, and up here, so West Coast. We've still got a few places in San Francisco worth going. Watch out for the needles.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
Too
so
true.
that'll be interesting to see what happens, and that does remind me that if you're a follower of Today in History on Facebook, and that is the day-to-day website, the person who ran it, Troy, passed away very recently. So, we're losing members of the Kiss Army left and right. Nibbler, of course,
Yeah.
passed away. How many other Kiss fans? So many over the past couple of years, and that's why I think the cruise sold out quickly. People want to live again.
Yeah.
People know that today's a gift, tomorrow's who knows what the hell's
Who
going to happen.
knows?
What's coming next? We've had 2 years of shutdowns and everything that's gone with that, and that's a non-political statement. It's been crap for everyone, regardless of your political skew. So, if you're going on the cruise, congratulations. I hope you have a great time. Let's get into one of the things that did come out in the past week, I guess, unless you ordered from Kiss Online. Virginia Beach.
That's right.
Virginia Beach Off The Soundboard came in, and we'd already heard samples of it from from the 2 singles that they'd released in advance of it. What was it? I Was Made for Loving You, and I don't remember what the other one was. But, same packaging design as last time. On the LPs, they changed the spine to say, Off The Soundboard, live in, which is hilarious. Just in case you needed any extra hints. They didn't change it on the CD. And I'm only holding that up because, yes, I did buy it. I don't buy the vinyl for this because, I'm not interested in it. I listened to the show. It's not a good show. Yes, it's a soundboard, but that just means you can hear how bad the performance is absolutely clearly. And the difference between it and Instant Live for me is that Instant Live buried all those warts under a nicely mixed in audience track. And that is a difference between an Instant Live being more representation as a quick and dirty live album rather than a pure Off The Soundboard. Mark, did you purchase it? Any further thoughts on Virginia Beach?
No, I didn't buy it, and I'll tell you why. I had 2 reasons why I didn't buy it. Number one, I'm still bitter and sour at Kiss Online about the whole Kiss Destroyer box set fiasco that happened. I swore up and down that I'll never ever purchase from Kiss Online again, and I'm sticking with that. And the other reason is because the first one that came out, it was available at my local record store not long after people started getting it, when they started delivering them. So I know this one will be available in the stores too, and I will get it then. I know I'll get the CD version of it for sure, but the vinyl version I'm a little up in the air on, mainly because I too listened to the sample. I remember listening to I Was Made for Loving You, not being very impressed. I mean, to me, I think they're kind of almost night and day. The Tokyo one has such a cool vibe to it. I loved that lineup with Ace and Eric Singer in there. And that was always one of the shows that I remembered years after I heard it the first time or saw the video of it on YouTube. That show always stuck in my head as being one of those shows I was like, wow, that's a really cool show. It had a good vibe to it. They sounded good. They were kind of raw. Paul was still sounding pretty good then. But I don't know, just this show just doesn't have that vibe. It doesn't grab me. It's just not... And like what Julian said, the fact that it's a soundboard, for me, that's usually a reason to ching, take my wallet. Because I hunt for soundboard stuff. I love soundboard stuff. I have tons of Yes soundboard stuff, tons of King Crimson sound. I love soundboard recordings, Rush stuff, okay? And so Kiss, too. Whenever I see a Kiss thing go up there, I'm like, ooh, okay. But this one, for some reason, the clarity of it and the thing that I love about the soundboard just make this one less something that I like. It's just, I don't know. It's just the performances are not as good, just like Julian said, and it just didn't connect with me. Maybe when I get the CD and if I sit down and listen to it a few times, maybe it'll be a grower. But as of right now, I'm losing no sleep that I don't have a green vinyl or the CD of it right now.
I've listened to it once, and that's all it's going to be. And maybe because we were spoiled by the Instant Lives back in 2004. Right. A soundboard is a soundboard, and you expect it to sound like this. It sounds like a soundboard. It's not that it doesn't sound like a soundboard. Again, the performance is wobbly. And yeah, Kiss is often wobbly in performance because they are moving around a lot, or, back then and back in the 70s, flubbing. But this has so many miscues. To me, it's like, why are you putting out something that doesn't make the band look good? This actually makes them look bad, to my way of thinking. Tokyo sounded fantastic and was an improvement on what had been out there. This is not an improvement on what was out there. Therefore, it should not have been selected. Again, my opinion. And I don't know why it was selected. I've got no clue. We do know that the shows were recorded for the Rock the Nation Live video. But this was the third show in a row for Paul, vocally. And I think it was his fourth or fifth in 6 days. So even back then, that's putting a lot of strain. Steven Tyler at that time was not doing any consecutive days live in concert. There was always days off to rest the voice. And if you were then going into recording, it's like it had been prepared and it was available and it was easy. And you now know why most of the Rock the Nation live video is from a different show. I think he's only got 3 songs that came from here. So, Ken, what's your take?
Yeah, well, I'm one of those who ordered off of Kiss Online, and
oh, so you can't comment on it.
I haven't even. Well, I haven't. I might have heard samples and things, but I haven't even received any notice of it being shipped.
Boy.
I think it said something like, I want to say it's next week or something. It may ship. I don't know. I have to look at the site. But anyway, I just got the green vinyl. I did not get the CD, or I would have, probably gotten it from Amazon or something. Anyway, but as for this is my take on this release. It's totally lazy. It's a lazy release, in my opinion. I don't know who's running the show for these releases, but to me, that is just a total lazy, easy kind of release for them to do, but not a smart one. And like you said, Julian, it has warts and stuff in it, and it shouldn't be doing having that. At least have something that it's either been covered up a little bit or just one of the good
warts are fine. They're part of the Kiss
performance,
concert.
Or solid performance, and a little bit maybe more energy or something like that. But I think they should really go back to some other deeper shows, even Reunion or something around 1990, the 80s. They still haven't represented Eric Carr.
Yeah.
In all this time, I just don't get that. To me, that's like an easy one for them to get a real good show with Eric Carr playing on drums, and with the Bruce Kulick, in the lineup at that time too. So I don't get it. I think this is just a lazy, quick release to fill the holes. Hopefully, the next one, if there is a next one, will be a better choice.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it exists. I'm very happy to now have 2 of these on my Kiss shelf. I'm very pleased by that, and I'm grateful that I'm happy I only paid $15 for it, including shipping off Universal's website, rather than what Amazon was charging or Kiss Online for that matter, because it's not worth more than that to me. Mm-hmm. So I am grateful. I'm grateful that it represents the current lineup. I'm fine with that. I'm glad it celebrates the first tour that this existing lineup went out, and Tommy's 20th anniversary with the band. Mm-hmm. But he hadn't found a position of comfort as a player in that lineup yet on this tour.
Yeah.
Gene and Paul, backing vocals are horrendous on this. Almost out of tune in parts, and just a lack of energy singing. I mean, it's so workmanlike. I'm not expecting Mahavishnu or Yes perfectionism in live concert. Come on, I'm a Kiss fan. you know, you don't lay that argument on me that it's a soundboard. It's going to be what it is. There are, again, it comes back to, there are good soundboards and there are bad nights. Every band has them. You're going to hit a bum note. We've just listened to the Houston 77 Golden Egg bootleg that came out recently, which is a vast improvement sonically off the same source. I don't know what the deal is with it, but that's got flubs in it. And it's not that it's the original lineup and the original energy or any of, you know, that set list from, you know, basically the Love Gun tour. It's very listenable, and it's something that we've had for decades. And it still excited me a hell of a lot more than this did. So if they'd release, you know, that as Off the Soundboard, Houston 77, it sounded like that, I would have been like, holy shit, that sounds way better than what I've heard all these years. Mark, you're going to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got to second that. I mean, I listened to that as well and was just blown away. I mean, I had it in a car, you know, cranking it. I was like, just, wow, this is just fantastic. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to hear when they release these kind of releases, because like Julian said, there are mistakes on there. Sure, there's flubs here. It's far from a perfect show, but the energy is there, the vibe is there, and it's what I kind of expected in a performance from Kiss at that time. It sounds good, you know. Same thing. What I expected from the Tokyo one, it was fully met my expectations on that, and I was happy with that. And Ken made an excellent point too. Where is our Eric Carr show? I mean, they got to be doing that sometime soon, because, you know, he's one of the ones that people have been complaining about for years. Like, why is there we have 3 Alives, okay? 1, 2, 3. None of them have Eric Carr on it, okay? So where are we going to get an Eric Carr live release? I mean, there's got to be something. Sure, we got Animalize Uncensored or whatever, that show, which is great, but, you know, there's so many things out there. I mean, if you just look on YouTube, there's that German festival that they did during Crazy Nights. You know, that's not the greatest performance by them, but that's a good, you know, Kiss show with them playing. I mean, there's got to be tons of stuff with Eric Carr available. Why not get something with him? I mean, I think that if you want to appease the people now after this kind of a release, announce that you're going to do one with Eric Carr, okay? And you know, I know it'll be, you know, probably well beyond any hope to have an Eric Carr with Vinnie Vincent show. But even if it's just an Eric Carr with Bruce, I'd be very happy with that, you know. I mean, so give us some odd Asylum show or something. That'd be cool, you know. I mean, there's got to be stuff like that in the vaults for sure, you know. So, you know, I just think that if they had the right people working in there, you know what it is, they got to get the right people to curate this shit. They don't have the right people doing this stuff, you know. They need to have people in there who are excited about these kind of shows, people who are excited to go through there and, you know, do the legwork. That's the thing that they don't want to do. They just want to, okay, this one looks good, let's just take this one, press it up, we'll make some money, Gene will be happy. No, you know.
How much do you think Gene's making off this? Do you actually think he's making real money?
Probably not, but, you know, he's probably making, you know, but still, I mean, if they're not making money off it, then okay, I can understand maybe why they're not putting any effort into it. But there's got to be somebody within the organization who's excited about it and maybe wants to, you know, make this kind of a series something to be proud of, rather than just some ham-fisted, okay, we're just grabbing this, throw this one out next. This one, okay, this whatever's next in hand reach we'll do next. You know, that's what just seems like they're doing.
Right, but are there enough Kiss fans actually supporting or buying these products? You know, Ken posted on the board, you know, about Destroyer 45 being on sale on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
What was it down to today? 159 or 156 for just the super deluxe
Something
edition?
like that.
Yeah, you know, basically $50 off. And people are still not buying it, you know, or supporting it. But I think part of the complaint is that on Destroyer 45, as great as it was, as much as I've played it the other day on the anniversary, the whole damn thing, didn't skip a song or a CD, was that the weak point was the Paris show. And again, that came down to, yes, it had been out there for decades, but no, it wasn't better than we already had. You know, yes, it had, you know, it had enough cachet in order to understand or be able to talk yourself into believing why it was included, but it didn't improve on what was out there. Tokyo improved on what was out there, so yay. This doesn't improve. Virginia Beach doesn't improve on what's out there. Go listen to Rock the Nation live, and there you've got a better sounding representation of the 2004 tour, and get the little Japanese 3-inch CD for the bonus tracks, and there you got some rare shit. But I thought 2014, Kiss Rocks Vegas sounds better, and yes, that is produced as a live album rather than a soundboard. I keep stressing that point because that seems to be the obtuse argument being made. Well, you're clearly expecting something different. No, again, it comes back to listening experience, and I wonder what Paul Stanley would think of hearing some of that vocal. Maybe he shrugs. Maybe it doesn't bother him. He's like, whatever, If it makes some money, it makes some money. I don't think it's a curating problem. I think it's that Kiss doesn't justify kind of the effort that some other bands that we love. We've talked about the Rush box sets. We've talked about Metallica box sets. Then you can look at stuff like Def Leppard, who just repackage all the shit again into a box and sell it again, and people go gaga because it's all in one place. So I don't know what the reasons are. I do agree Eric Carr needs to be represented. Yeah. I think Vinnie needs to be represented if that's not too much of a headache. And who knows, it may just be forget about it. But that's another question that's on my list today. And so thank you, Mark, for bringing up Animalize Live Uncensored, because there was a poll about which is better as a live album, a live 3, or Animalize Live Uncensored. So, Mark, you take first stab at that.
Wow. Believe it or not, this to me is kind of a difficult thing to, decide on. And I'll tell you why, because most people would say right away, oh, what are you talking about? Animalize for sure. Okay, yeah, it's a classic show. I remember the funny thing is that my very first introduction to that show was not actually seeing that whole show. It was, I had the Bruce Kulick instructional guitar video, and on it, at the very beginning, is the last ending part of Black Diamond, where when they go from the lighting grid down.
Comes down and they go up it.
Yeah, that whole thing there that they do, that how his instructional video started, was showing that section. And I was like, oh, what the hell is that? And then I searched it out and realized it was a live show that was out. So, and then I watched it, and I really dug it. I mean, it was from a time period I was into Kiss again, because my sister had gotten Heaven's on Fire on 7-inch, and she was playing that around the house, and we got the album, so I was very familiar with that time period. And yeah, they play kind of fast, the material on this stuff. It's a little sped up, but they're having a good time. Don't forget, a few years before that, they were barely struggling to play live, and now they're playing into a packed house here in Detroit again. So no wonder they were all excited again. So, but looking now at Alive 3, Eric Singer, he's in the band, and he's a fantastic drummer. And his performances of the older material, I remember Daniel even saying this once too, that the way he played the older stuff on drums gave it a whole new energy and gave it a whole new feel. Like songs like Deuce were so much more energetic. I remember my drummer in my band, Jerry, when he first heard Deuce played by Eric Singer, he's like, this is like a completely different song. Now I love this song. Like he as soon as he heard Eric Singer do it, it was a whole new ball game. And I think that a whole generation of people kind of came in with that too. Like they kind of modernized the old Kiss stuff on this record. But a lot of people say too, like, oh, Eddie Kramer didn't do as good a job on this record. Then we find out that he didn't really have much of involvement on this. He was just there as really just a name pasted on there, and Paul was really the one overseeing it. And some people say, oh, it's a kind of sterile sounding record, but I don't mind it. It's a more modern sounding live album. Bruce Kulick definitely has a more heavier guitar sound than Ace really does. The band overall sounded much heavier. To me, it's very close, but I still think in the end, I would probably go for Animalize, because I think that the overall performance of that is just more, just more what I expected from that time period. And I think that it's more accurate. I think there was a little bit of touching up and a little bit of extra extra EQing and stuff like that done on a live stream, like a lot more to maybe polish it up a little bit more. So I like Animalize a bit more.
Animalized Live Uncensored is overdubbed and everything as well, so it's been through the full Kiss treatment sonic-wise. Ken?
Yeah, I saw this. I did pick Animalize Live Uncensored. Yeah, I don't like this speeding up of the song so much. That's a little bit of a problem for me, but definitely the energy is there. And I think this show was it was an MTV thing, and then they first, right, and they showed I don't think they showed the whole concert at MTV, and then
It was an edit.
It was an edit, yeah, and then they had they finally released it on VHS, but I must have watched that a million times back when it came out, and I just always liked it. I think their thing too is maybe the performance might have not been their best performance on that tour because they were hamming it up for the cameras and all that kind of stuff too during this performance. But having said that, I do like that one better. I really, while Alive 3 is good and great performance by the band, solid and tight, I think I talked about tight last week. It's just I don't like the production. I never liked the production of Alive 3. I don't know what it is, but it's not. I want to hear more separation and
You want to hear it loud,
sound.
right between the eyes.
Yeah, right between the eyes. Yeah. But so, in a nutshell, just the Eric Carr thing, I think, and it being kind of a favorite from back in the '80s for me, I picked that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. In the 80s, obviously, I've told my stories about becoming a fan many times. I only saw the MTV thing. I didn't have the video for years. When I moved out to Singapore in 87, 88, I had the Indonesian bootleg cassette of it. So that I listened to quite a lot. But once I was able to watch the video repeatedly, I couldn't stand it. I love the spaceship, the farewell elevator, because it's like what they used on the farewell tour to come down from the... So that I've officially christened the farewell elevator. With the edits and the close-in camera work, it just became schizophrenic to me. It was like hamsters on acid. And the speed of it was just so unpleasant. Alive 3 is no more pleasant. It's tinny. It's, the treble's cranked. The separation isn't there, the attitude. So if they do an Off The Soundboard, I would love a pretty untouched Off The Soundboard from 92 tour. Separate to a 94 or 95 one, please, because I'm a greedy bastard. So I never liked Alive 3 particularly. It was about the sound. It wasn't about Eric Singer. The performance on it was great. I thought the set list was fine. So I'm really stuck in a quandary here. I think I would have to go with Alive 3 just because it has a better balance of the set, whereas Animalize Live Uncensored, I just can't get past how sped up some of those classics are now.
Yeah.
I seem to, as I get older, prefer the more traditional sound of the band and the tempos at which they were played in the 70s, even though some of those shows could get pretty fast as well, trying to jam that into 75 minutes. So, yeah, I'll go with Alive 3, warts and all, and just hope that one day there's a, Off The Soundboard that makes me happy with, unproduced, more real sound without, that audience on the Alive 3 is fucking awful. I gotta stick with Alive 3. All right, so what other topic do we have? Oh yeah, go on.
I'll tell you a quick topic, since I know you probably have another topic, but I just noticed this. This came up regarding the Kiss Store, and we kind of talked about it earlier a little bit. But the Kiss Store update, someone was trying to look at items that they had pre-ordered on Kiss Online, and their password wasn't working on any device. And they were like, what the hell? So it says, I emailed and I got this response. I knew there was going to be a change, but now we have to redo our accounts, and we will not be able to see any previous order information. So here's the response to the person. I guess it's Rob. The store is moving management. This means it's a new site, and you will need to create a new account login. Your previous orders will not be visible on the new site. We will still fulfill any previous orders. If you have any questions regarding your previous orders, please continue to reach out to us. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank for shopping on Kiss Online Store. So I guess they're moving. I'm guessing that what it is the site is basically looks the same, but the behind it, the management or the fulfillment is in a new system, where now we're going to have to. I'm going to have to try my password now to see if I can.
Yeah, I would think stock control and all of that, if they're shifting from one to another and it's in the middle of doing it, just like with some system upgrades sometimes, that fucks everything up, as I well know. But wow, I think, where's the communication again? Where
why can't they say that they were changing things, and you might want to go back.
You may encounter some issues. Well, how about before a customer gets panicked or sees everything disappear from the online Kiss Store, they actually send out a fucking notice, either from the new one. How difficult. Again, everything people complain about fictitious books. We'll talk about books in a minute, Ken. Record delays, everything can be made better. And there's always going to be one pissed off customer. Come on, face it. You can't make everyone happy. With a little bit of communication. Mark, you're an independent record label. You handle everything yourself. You do engage others to help you with artwork and all that, but you are the source of truth when it comes to your releases. You are fantastic at keeping people updated, whether it's through emails, whether it's through YouTube videos that make people feel a part of your music and what you're doing, but you're always very religious about keeping in touch with the people who support you. It's amazing.
Well, I was just going to say, and thank you for bringing that up, Julian, because I think that there's one thing that bothers me about this whole thing is that if it was me, if I was Kiss and I knew this was happening, it would bother me to no end. Like I can't do that. Like I can't go to sleep knowing that something like that would be happening. Like when I had a delay with my stuff, I immediately made a video, and I also put it on Facebook in a text thing. I wrote out a bunch of stuff. When I knew that it might be a couple of weeks for something else to come in, I wrote it down. When I was waiting for posters to come in, I told the people, here's what's going on with the posters. This and that. And you know what? Here's a little news flash for Kiss Online. If you do that, 9 times out of 10, the people are usually like, okay, that's great. Thank you for letting me know. They're not going to come after you with pitchforks and knives if you go and tell them ahead of time what's going on. Usually most people are pretty good about it. I mean, all my supporters are fantastic with that. I just told them now that my CDs have come in, my new ones, okay, and that the bonus discs that I offered, I'm just finishing off doing them, okay, and I said, please just give me a couple of days over this weekend to get them done, and I wrote out the list of what's on each of the discs so they could see what they're going to be getting and everything. Everybody's like, this is great. I'm looking so forward to getting them. Thank you for letting us know. See, like, how hard is that to do? I don't get it. Like, what's going on with this? I mean, I feel for people like Ken and Julian. They're still waiting on this Dubai shit. What kind of updates going on with this shit? Like, I don't think there's any latest update on this at all.
And there was in the week. Okay. Yeah, there was an email, and they're still throwing the band under the bus, saying we're still waiting on band approvals to our latest proposal.
Wow. I mean, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, people are spending, like, when I hear that people are spending upwards of thousands of dollars for some of these packages, this is unacceptable. I mean, I feel bad making people wait to have paid $40 or $50 for some stuff. And I have people who sometimes buy multiple vinyls and stuff like that. I've had some supporters that have bought everything that I offer at once. And, you know, and those people are the ones I'm like, okay, I got to make sure they know what's going on and this and that. They don't feel that. I mean, maybe when you get to a certain level of success, that sort of feeling it leaves you, and I hope that never leaves with me, because, you know, I think it's just wrong. People work hard for money. A lot of people go to jobs that they might not necessarily love to make ends meet, and music is something that they rely on to make themselves feel better at the end of the day, and to gyp them out of that is just not right.
Yeah, you've got to use your social media presence, and I'm not going to pretend I'm suddenly Julian Gill marketing, because I'm not. But if I needed reason 9,436 as to why I don't do pre-orders of stock that don't exist, I don't do pre-orders at all, because that's just insane in this day and age. But you have to post on your website that you sent out an email to everyone with an update about what's going on in case it ends up in someone's junk filter. And then you have to use your Twitter or your Instagram to repeat the message, because people may not go to your website. Yeah. You really have to go where the people are to get the message out that you've sent them a message. You know, it's like texting someone. It might be annoying, but you don't know people's spam filters these days and what gets filtered and what doesn't. But I think it's a difficult time if they are making a transition in between, releasing picture discs and some other product that is pre-ordered. It's a very challenging time, and just a little bit of extra communication would make your customers feel better, especially with some of the fiascos that have been occurring over the past year. And yes, we do understand it's not been easy. Yeah, well, it's not been easy for the people who are still shelling out the fucking money to buy your product. Just remember that. Without them, there ain't the jobs.
So exactly.
Yeah, respect your customers.
Exactly. And just quickly, there's the new CD. It looks good. It's here. Yeah. There's the back cover. And inside, I'm very happy with the way Jason, who does my art, he did a little discography of all my records there. The little boom thing there. There's the single, right, with the single, and it has the booklet turned out really nicely too. It has the same cover on the front, and the artwork it's really nice. Jason always does such a great job. This is Jason Pollan, if anyone's wondering.
He does fantastic work, and the lyrics are so important in your album. You really do want to be able to read along with them. So and of course, the FAQ gang is thanked in the booklet as usual in here. But look, I mean, I'm only asking like $12, I think, now for a CD. That to me is not the important thing. The important thing is that people have paid it, and have paid it when it was even more, when it was $14 before. That to me is important. When somebody pays you money like that, you have to give them what they paid for, and any kind of delay, no matter what it is, should be told to everybody in the form of an email or a video. That I can't stress enough. Yeah, they're paying for product, but respect should automatically be included free. Yeah. Or you're paying for respect and the product's free. Either way, it works out. Let's talk about new product. Vinnie Vincent apparently had a listening party this past weekend where he debuted for a very select group of people. New music. I'm going to have to say new, because we don't know whether it is the finally finished Pyro Messiah, Guitar Mageddon, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. If it's not been released before, it's going to be new. If it's him having tarted up stuff that he's been working on over the years, perfectly fine. It's his music. So he gets to call it what he wants. Does this excite you, Ken?
Well...
Or mildly interest you?
Yeah, I mean, it interests me if it's real. It's like, so they're hearing new music. Okay, is this new music actually, it just hasn't been released, or is it newly recorded music, or, what is it? But it sounds like it's going to be an album. So yeah, it's interesting if it comes to fruition. I think it could be a cool thing, knowing how talented Vinny is, with his music and writing songs, because that's the most important thing. So yeah, I'm interested, but I have to see it before I really believe it, or in this case maybe hear it before I believe it in. And how much will this thing cost is another question. There's some outrageous prices out there of some other things that he's had for sale. I'm curious about the pricing.
Yeah. If it is Guitarmageddon in its entirety, as Vinny envisaged it today, in pristine sonic clarity, I would be very, very excited. I would be less excited if it's a vinyl only of that, because his music really doesn't need the warmth of analog on a turntable. His is all, Guitarmageddon for my ears is almost more CD quality music than vinyl. Or digital. If I'm going to have to jump through hoops to order it, I am very uninterested in doing a pre-order. I think when you have a track history that, let's be perfectly honest, includes archives, and the fiasco that was, regardless of the intention behind it or what caused the problems that ultimately occurred, it still happened. Yeah. And that is going to make a lot of people cautious. It makes a lot of people hate and vent as well, unfortunately. I did not pre-order archives, though I did pre-order to buy, so I know what it feels like. And magic, so come on. You don't have to ride the same horse to know what it feels like to get kicked off one. So I would be excited. If it's not Guitarmageddon or Pyro Messiah, or it's something else that he's been working on, then I'm even more interested, because if it's a new expression of his art, I'd be fascinated to know where he's gone since Guitarmageddon, because we've heard that for years. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Vinnie Vincent fan, but I am curious to see what he's come up with. The fact that he's actually released some music and people have heard it, whether it's 6 people or 100 people, there's some sort of evidence that there is something new going on. So, but again, I'm with Ken. I'll be more excited if I see something or hear something in person, and that's the thing I'm kind of curious about. When is this only letting 10 people business going to come to an end, and we're finally going to have some, actual footage of some of these events come out?
CreaturesFest?
Or, yeah, well, I hope. I mean, because everybody's still writing in these forums that they're putting money down. Will he show? Will he show? I hope he does, because I'd like to see some current Vinny stuff live and in person, so to speak, right? I mean, what is he waiting for? I mean, we aren't getting any younger. He's not getting any younger. The time to strike the iron is now, So I really hope that something comes of this.
I do, but I think he's also gone back to 2018 in some ways, that there's a lot of excitement building around CreaturesFest. Will he? Won't he? That's exactly the same thing we were asking in Atlanta. Was he going to be there? Was he going to show up? And when the little ripple of rumor came through, he's arrived, it's real, he's going into it, Eddie Trunk now. Can you recapture that excitement in 2022, 4 years after the fact? Well, they're going a long way. What happens after that, whether he does or doesn't? If he doesn't, then it should be over, and that's it. And I would hope that that is the end. If he blows off the event that's been built up around him, that's his choice, and there should be consequences, especially with how far out a lot of people have gone for him. But if he is there, what can he make it as another step, or is it the culmination of his comeback? It'll be interesting to see what happens. I've got no interest in going to that. But this is a poll that's on the FAQ. CreaturesFest. You got to choose, Ken. You're not going, but you got to choose. which is the one? If you got to go free, front and center, but you could only choose one, which one of these shows would you go to? Ace, Vinnie, or Bruce at CreaturesFest?
I'm gonna say Bruce.
Why?
It's difficult because I've seen Ace, enough. I mean, you see him all the time on YouTube, but I've seen him before a couple times.
You're sick of Ace? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not sick of Ace. I just know pretty much what I'm going to get with Ace. But Bruce, based on those performances on the cruise, it's just over the top great stuff. So I want a real great. I know I'm going to get something really great from Bruce for sure. So I'd go there. Vinnie, I don't know what I'm going to get. I have no. It's like you're playing Russian roulette with Vinnie. So I would go with Bruce on that one. That would be my pick.
All right, Mark. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bruce. I mean, there's no two ways around it. I mean, Bruce. I mean, he's delivered just stellar performances from whenever he's done a live show, and it's not that I don't think Ace doesn't do good performances. I just think that he also plays material that I'm interested in hearing. I mean, Ace does a lot of the same sort of songs, and of course his own material as well, which is good, right? But Bruce plays material that we don't get to hear often as Kiss fans, and I really like that. That we get to hear Asylum stuff, Crazy Night stuff, things like that. And he's always dependable. He's always well rehearsed. His band is always well rehearsed as well, and there's never any kind of fiascos. Like, he isn't throwing water bottles at sound men and stuff like that. So I really like that about Bruce, that he's very professional and his shows always come out fantastic. And I think that, again, it all boils down to, if I'm going to go spend my hard-earned money on something, I want to get something that's worth my money. And I think Bruce does deliver. But with Vinnie, spending money on him right now is a wild factor. You don't know what's going to happen. And Ace, you don't have to worry that he's going to show up. I mean, he will show up. Maybe he'll show up late or something. But what kind of a show is he going to get from you? Are you going to get from him? Because his band now at least are good. Those guys are really good. But Ace is kind of hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes he has a good night. Sometimes he has pretty sloppy nights. So Bruce, to me, is a pretty safe bet, I think.
Yeah, I love this. Go ahead, Ken.
I was going to say, I must say though, Peter Criss is going to be there, right?
Yeah.
If I knew who Peter Criss, and we don't know this it's going to happen or not, but if Peter Criss is going to perform with one of them, like Ace or Bruce, he is going to perform with Ace.
Yeah, you can't change your vote now. You've already.
I didn't know that was a for sure thing. No. I would go.
No do-overs.
Can I be two places at one time? No. I would go. Okay, I would, if I knew for sure that Peter was going to be with Ace for a song or two or whatever, I would definitely do that one. If not, then it's going to be a Bruce.
Right, but you already picked Bruce, so that doesn't matter.
Could you imagine if he showed up with Vinnie?
No. He could do Tears.
Yeah, could you imagine if he did something like that? That would be a
He doesn't like drummers. So.
Well, I don't think Peter's going to be drumming. That's unknown.
He may just sing
at this point whether he'll be doing that, but it wouldn't matter to me. I would go and see Ace simply for if Peter got up there and sang a couple of songs with Ace, that would be so cool. I wouldn't even need him to be on the kit. Just his voice with Ace playing guitar, would be totally awesome. And I think that really is the high point. Bruce, I love Bruce. I love how he picks, and he's really got his fan ears on. He listens, he's got his spies who tell him what should be done, what might be a nice idea. But I think he's got enough of his own ideas. If you look at his YouTube and the stuff that he does with Lisa, he really just lives music. I'd have to go with Ace, though. And I love Ace's current band, but I miss Richie. I would love to see Richie up there with Ace and Peter as well. But, Vinnie, that would be interesting, and it's kind of tough to not go with it, go with that as the choice, but it comes back to the will he, won't he?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pass up the opportunity if I was to go and, obviously be front and center to see Peter and Ace again, because when's the last time those two were together musically? I think it was Eddie Trunk Thing. Did a couple of songs. Some birthday
thing, right?
Yeah, and it was good, It didn't roll back the clock, but you're not going to at this point. So that would be kind of fun. Let's finish on a kind of a pointless thing. Metal Edge did a ranking of their top 5 unmasked era song poll results. So I want to get you guys' take on these. In 5th place, look it up. Shakar, that's pretty pedestrian. 4th place, Mark will be impressed with Who Wants to Be Lonely. That's a little bit out of left field. And in 3rd place, I'm happy with this, Reason to Live. Though you could easily go with Turn on the Night, but I think in terms of what Kiss were going for, Reason to Live is a great pick from that era. In 2nd place, Heaven's on Fire. No, fail on that. And in 1st place, anyone want to take a crack at it? Lonnie?
There's no Lonnie.
I know. So what's the number 1 pick for the unmasked Kiss number 1 song?
Maybe Unholy?
Yep. Lonnie Rigby.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So what do you think of those top 5s? Yay or nay? Mark?
Well, I mean, I obviously approve of Who Wants to Be Lonely, of course. But, the problem with these kind of lists is I always feel that they kind of pick the songs that are popular to pick, like...
Those were videos, all videos, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't say this was
it's just songs,
ranking.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't read it too closely, but in terms
I don't think they picked it as video,
Yeah, as songs. Top unmasked songs is what I think it was framed as.
The top unmasked song as Unholy, I mean, it's hard to maybe argue that. I mean, that was a really great song. I know when I first heard it, it impressed me. I couldn't even believe it was Kiss when I first heard it. So maybe putting that number 1 I could maybe see, but the problem with us Kiss fans is that we know every little nook and cranny of every single song. So for us, when you hear stuff like Heaven's on Fire, we're like, oh, boo, why didn't they pick something, something more obscure, like, Get What You Can Take or something, like it. But, you got to understand, these are people who run magazines, and magazine people want to sell magazines. And so for them, it's always a popular pick, right? So I'm not surprised that they picked those 5, but, Who Wants to Be Lonely? Good pick. I think that's a really good pick. And are you surprised that they picked the ballad off of Crazy Nights there? I mean, come on.
Ken, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me they just picked the videos or singles and ranked them. So I totally disagree with the list. I seriously. I mean, that's fine if you're going to say it was just videos or ranking singles. But I think if you're going to say the best stuff, I'm going to be choosing other things, deeper cuts even, the Exciter and Not for the Innocent.
Do you think they even know these songs,
like
those guys?
Oh, what?
Do you think that those guys even know what those songs
Probably
are?
Not.
Or what album?
Probably not half of them. But, I mean, yeah, they should have someone knowledgeable there, you would think, on Metal Edge. But I wouldn't pick that. I would pick other songs from those albums for the most part. Reason to Live, I would have picked, Turn on the Night over Reason to Live and stuff like that even. Unholy, that's obvious. I think a pretty good pick. But yeah, I just don't agree. Yeah, Look It Up was a big hit, or I don't know if it was a big hit at the time, but it's played forever, and they play it in concert, so it's kind of like a staple there. So
Yeah. Well, what would you pick over Heaven's on Fire? What would you pick off of Animalize?
Oh, off of, I don't Burn Bitch. No, I'm joking. Off that could be.
Don't tell me Murder in High Heels.
No. That could be the best song on there, other than, like you said, You Can Get All You Can Take, or even the the opening song. I've had enough. Yeah. So that's a tougher one to pick, but I mean that's the obvious single. Well, Thrills in the Night I always liked off of Animalize too. So it is what it is. Forever off of I actually do like that as the ballad, maybe more than Reason to Live. Yeah, I would have picked Forever over Reason to Live. I like the video. They had a video on that one. And I like the song. I just think it's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, Heaven's on Fire, it wouldn't even be in my top 5 for Unmasked Kiss.
Yours is King of the Mountain on yours, right?
No, not when it would be coming to that. I mean, I think I'd have stuff like Turn on the Night, All Night, definitely. No, I'm kidding. No. But I wouldn't have Heaven's on Fire. No. I would have to have stuff represented from, Revenge and Crazy Nights because of what they were intended, not necessarily how they did. But, maybe even I would have Crazy Nights instead of Reason to Live, just because of the British aspect of it and how it was a hit somewhere. And God Gave Rock and Roll to You probably instead of Unholy, because, again, from the Euro point of view, or the English one, that was more of a hit. All right, that's it. That's the end of 400. So we'll see you next week. So we do thank you for joining us. As I said at the beginning, stay healthy, stay happy. Stay positive. And for now, from Ken, Mark, and myself, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.